Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Ava Loves Cats 88. Thanks for the suggestion, Ava. You asked, why do envelopes have a triangle-shaped flap? Is it just for looks, or is there more to it? If you've ever stared at an envelope and thought, there's no way this simple design is that intentional, you're in for a surprise. The triangle flap isn't just random. It's a masterpiece of geometry, functionality, and even a little intrigue. So grab your stamps and settle in, because today we're uncovering the surprisingly fascinating story behind envelope flaps, right here on Explaining Everything. To understand why envelopes look the way they do, we have to take a quick trip back in time. Before the invention of the envelope, people didn't have a neat little package for their letters. Nope. Folks would just fold up the paper itself into a compact shape and slap some wax on it to seal it shut. This wasn't exactly foolproof. If your friend Susan wanted to gossip about medieval Jerry, any nosy messenger could peek inside before resealing it. Privacy was basically optional. Enter the envelope. Around the 17th century, people started using pieces of paper specifically cut and folded to protect letters. It was like a cozy sleeping bag for your words. But here's the thing. Triangle flaps didn't become standard until later. Early envelopes were just folded rectangles, awkwardly sealed at the corners, like someone trying to wrap a present after 2 glasses of wine. Let's do a little geometry. Don't panic, this is the fun kind. The triangular flap is all about efficiency. If you think about it, a triangle has 3 points, and when you fold it down, it creates a neat closure with the least amount of excess paper. No bulky corners, no weird gaps. Plus, the triangle shape evenly distributes pressure when you seal it. Ever licked an envelope and accidentally ripped it because it was too fragile? That's less likely to happen with a triangle flap. The design helps keep the envelope sturdy while making it easy to open later, without requiring the Hulk to tear it apart. This is where some genius envelope engineer probably said, "Triangles are the way to go." And everyone else was like, "Yeah, let's not mess with perfection." Let's talk about the unsung hero of envelopes: glue. Envelopes with triangle flaps pair perfectly with that weird, sticky strip on the inside. Back in the day, people used wax or string to seal letters. But wax was messy, string was a hassle, and both could be tampered with. In the 1800s, envelope manufacturers introduced gummed paper, a magical invention that let you lick a flap and stick it shut. Here's where the triangle flap shines again. Its shape provides just enough surface area for glue without wasting paper. Too much glue, and you're running out of saliva. Too little glue, and your letter pops open halfway to its destination, exposing all your secrets. The triangle flap balances it out beautifully. Also, side note, can we talk about licking envelopes for a second? Who decided this was okay? You're essentially trusting a letter carrier to deliver your spit-sealed paper with dignity. Okay, functionality aside, there's also a bit of style involved here. Triangles just look neat. A square or rectangular flap would make the envelope feel clunky, like it was designed by someone who didn't care about aesthetics. And don't even get me started on circles. Cool in theory, impossible in execution. But the triangle flap isn't just pretty, It's sneaky. When folded and sealed, it creates a natural overlap with the edges of the envelope, making it harder for someone to tamper with the contents without leaving obvious signs. Think of it as the tamper-proof seal of the pre-Netflix era. You'd know immediately if someone opened your letter because they'd mess up the flap. Of course, envelopes today come in all shapes and sizes. Greeting cards, square flaps, fancy invitations. Sometimes you get scalloped edges or intricate folds. But for your average, everyday envelope, the one carrying your bills, junk mail, and grandma's $5 birthday check, the triangle flap reigns supreme. Why? It's cost-effective, it's easy to manufacture, and honestly, we've just gotten used to it. If someone suddenly decided to swap out all triangle flaps for trapezoids, people would riot. There'd be think pieces titled "The Death of the Envelope" and at least 3 conspiracy theories about big paper. So, next time you're tearing open an envelope, take a second to appreciate its design. That triangle flap isn't just a random shape. It's the result of centuries of trial, error, and people asking the fundamental question: what's the least annoying way to keep a letter shut? The triangle was born out of a perfect balance of geometry, functionality, and practicality, ensuring your mail stays safe while keeping production costs low. And hey, if you're still mad about licking envelope glue, just remember, we live in a world where self-sealing envelopes exist. Think about it. No more awkward, spit-filled moments with every letter you send. No more awkwardly trying to reseal a flap when the glue's dried out. And no more worrying that the postman might catch you in an awkward licking situation. Progress is beautiful. The humble envelope flap has evolved to keep up with modern needs. Practical, efficient, and a little less gross. If you enjoyed this unexpectedly hilarious journey through envelope history, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about. Here on Explaining Everything.